彼の残した言葉の中にもあるんですが、いい写真、彼が一番思考していたのは多くの人にいかに写真を撮ってもらうか。
1960年代に前谷さんというオリンパスの技術者がいましてね。
カメラが当時はまだ高級品なので、前谷さんをはじめとする開発の方々が多くの人に使ってもらうにはどうしたらいいかって考えた中で、カメラ自体をもっと安く作りたい。
当時6000円で作れないかっていうふうにできたカメラです。
そして当時高かったフィルム代、現像代を少しでも負担を減らしたい。そうしたらハーフサイズのカメラを作ろう。そうすると倍撮れるのですごく経済的です。
で35ミリカメラの24枚だと48枚撮れます。それが非常に画期的だということで、使われた。ペンが出た時にオリンパスを持って家族写真を撮ったりなんかする人が非常にいましたですね。
主にプロを中心として使う機材が変わってきていた。なるべくいいものを作ろうと各社していて、どうしても大きくなってしまっている。その中で前谷はやっぱりプロが本当に求めるものってそういうことなのかっていうことに疑問を感じて、その中で生まれたのが OM1 だと考えています。
結局彼がこれ集大成なんですね。やっぱりかなり命が吹き込まれたカメラではないかなっていうふうに僕は思います。
When I got into the newspaper business, it was just coming off the time when 2.25 was kind of the equipment preferred. The guy that hired me came from the speed graphic day, the 4x5. As technology progressed, all of a sudden it was accepted that 35 millimeter was great for newspaper work. It's not as physically imposing as a larger camera. The more I become invisible, the more I can become part of the scene, the more the photographic opportunities present themselves to me. The camera, it becomes a productive tool. It's there for a purpose. Maitani realized that, and that drove the original design of the OM. When you put it in your hand, everything was where you wanted it to be. The aperture's right here. My two front fingers take care of that. Other fingers fall back to the shutter speed. It's an enabler, it's a conduit, not an interference between you and what's happening.
1996年にオリンパスは最初の民生品のデジタルカメラを出したわけですけれども、フィルムであろうとデジタルであろうとないものを作るというのは全社共通で今でも一番ベーシックなところに流れているのではないかなと考えます。
デザインを検討するときにスケッチを書いて最初検討して、その次にですね 3D データを入れてからこのようなラフな削りのモデルを作ります。でこれをベースにボタンの位置が適切であるかとか、あるいはグリップ性能はこれでいいかとかっていうのを検討していくんですけれども、我々が一番に考えていることはやはり使われる方、ユーザーのことです。
There's certainly an emotional connection with your camera. As soon as you pick it up, you know, you have a feeling. It's the design, it's how it looks, and it's how it's going to support you in achieving the image that you want to capture. Size and portability and mobility in photography is a message that we've been talking about for decades. The philosophy of the Olympus cameras is being able to shoot everywhere. We had a photographer go to Antarctica, and obviously you've got crazy low temperatures there. We created technology that enables them to do that. If you were that customer, what would the end solution be that you would want? It's important to always be thinking about what do people need, what are they going to need, what's the future going to be, and to aspire to deliver that.
災害に遭われた方が取り戻したいものの最も大事なものの一つがやっぱ写真なんですね。それって単なる現像された紙ではなくて、その当時の家族の思い出がやはりそこに残っているってみんなが思うので、思い出を取り戻したいという気持ちがあると思うんです。つまり写真にはそれだけの力があると思っています。
I've got a photograph of our son. I think he was a year old. It's got the catch light in his eyes. Wonderful moment of him getting ready to tap the glass. It's not a great photograph, but it's a great moment. Wow, look at that. I remember that. Oh, look at this. You know, raising your kids, the pains and the struggle and the exhaustion and the joys and all these things that occur. What a wonderful confirmation it is of you as a human. This is who we are and who we were.
今でもそのものを作るにあたってはお客様の声というのをすごく大事にしています。マイタリが残した言葉の一つに、我々はカメラを開発提供しているんではなくて、カメラを通じて人々が幸せになることを提供しているんだっていう言葉があります。ないから作る、その精神というのを日々実現しようと、これこそが社会に対するオリンパスの役割だと思っています。
Good day, everybody, and welcome back to my Facebook. I keep saying Facebook. No, it is YouTube Live. Oh dear me. Right, okay, let's be bright here. Let me just turn it down a little. And how are you all? How are you all? And thinking there's quite a few of you already online. Let's say hello first before I get into my today's topic, right? Okay, so who's Seraphine is here? Hello. And James Wong, First Footprint Photography. Brad, hello. Oh, back Kate. Oh, I hope you're okay. And Patrick, Zami, Christopher, Mark, David, Olaf, Marsha, hello. Morgans, Foodpedia, Xavier, Theo, Robshoot Photo, Necro, Tim, Rudolph, Calvin, hello, and Connor, Robert, oh my goodness, hello, how many of you? Eric, and Ruth, okay, everybody, hello Jan, and wow, okay, quite a few of you online already, and yeah, I'm excited to be here today, absolutely, and this is kind of like the one thing that I'm always looking forward to is to chat to you all live, and I think there's nothing better than you know, talk to like-minded people, right? It's just like a best get-together a couple of hours, hopefully not too long. You know, I know all of you have something to do, but I'm really grateful that all of you actually be able to tune in to today's live talk. Of course, you've seen the title. It's something that I just want to express how I feel about the whole situations, and also not only that, it's also all about how people's perceive of Olympus now and the future. So it's quite a lot to discuss here today, and of course, you know, you're free to express your concern or a comment about the entire kind of situation as well. You know, from your angle, we are happy to talk about it as well. But before I do that, have you guys got all coffees? And I've seen some of you already have coffee. I have my big cup here. Yes, a big cup of espresso. Yeah, it's not one shot, probably about 5 or 6 shots here. So I should be able to last about 180 minutes. I think, was it you, Calvin, who said that? Okay, anyway, so it's really good. But before I start today's conversation, and I have one big announcement to say. I know I already said it before, but I have spent a lot of time doing this, and finally it's coming alive. It is my photo and video competition. And I'm very, very excited. I have set up a new group and a new website just dedicated on this new community. You know, so hopefully we can create some sort of inspiration to each other, and especially in 2020, you know, you can see that we can't travel. So it's good for people to share images and, you know, things that they see. Not necessarily has to be like very artistic, very shot with a very professional equipment. It just anything. Because I want to see what the world is like at the moment. I want to see whether, you know, what's happening down the street from yours, and likewise. And I hope that I can share some of my images through my travel. It doesn't have to be now either. It can be any time. It can be something that you dug up, you know, from an old case, you know, some old photo that you scan, or your holiday photo. It can be anything. So there's no limit whatsoever. So this is also the same with the competition. I know. And there are many competitions out there at the moment, but this is really an open invitation to all interested photographers and videographers out there, whoever wants to share their visions, however they see the world is, and also separate into multiple categories, so that hopefully there will be something for everybody. Not only that, I'm also very happy to say that there is a very good, there are some good prizes as well, because I have managed to convince quite a few big sponsors for the prizes. So if you all enter, there will be something for everyone, and hopefully I will be able to encourage you to take your skills to the next level. That's my aim, and this is not really profit making as well. I spent seriously a lot of months now trying to do this, and a lot of coffee from me trying to get these people in on board to sponsor the prizes and things like that. So it's finally here. So let me share with this news for you guys as well. Just 1 second. I'm just going to bring up the title. Where that is now. Okay, so first of all, I have a Facebook group here, which is called the See the World Together. If you go to Facebook, you will see this name. Just Google it, not Google it. On Facebook, you just search See the World Group Together. You will find this group, and at the moment, we've got about nearly 350 people now, which is actually fantastic. So hopefully, we're going to grow this community together, and we'll continue to share the images around the world, and that will be fantastic. And then we have a new Instagram page, right? It's called See the World GB. Unfortunately, I can't get the word See the World. Someone has taken the name already, so I have to add GB at the end of it. So, Great Britain, hopefully you kind of get that. But it's not just about Great Britain. It's just whatever I can get hold of. So this is the See the World GB Instagram. At the moment, it's not very much active at the moment, only because I had major problem with Instagram because they blocked my account basically, and so I couldn't even do anything for quite a few weeks. So finally, I got it fixed this morning. I had to ask them, to release my account because I couldn't do anything. So finally they released it. So hopefully I will start posting images to the Instagram as well. So yes, it's really good. So let me just close these two here because I'm going to show you something else. So the competition that I mentioned to you is this, right? It's See the World Creative Contest 2020. You see the website there, www.seetheworld.gb.net. All the details are going to be there, and you can see all these people here. These are the sponsors, so you can expect prizes from these people. Right, see, you can recognize some of these brands, and they are, not like small brands. Some of these are really big brands as well. So I'm really happy to say that, they are sponsoring some of the prizes, and the winners of each category will receive something, and there will be great prize for the overall photography winner, and also one great prize for a videographer who managed to do something fantastic with the camera in video terms. So there's something for everybody, and I've got a lot of stuff in my actually in my studio already, all in boxes. I haven't even opened them yet, but they sent me loads of stuff for me to share with all the category winners, and so you all got something. So don't worry about it, you all got something. That's fantastic. So I hope you guys are really excited about everything. If you want to check out the details, if you ask me any question, please do so. Email me, ask me anything about the competition. I will be happy to answer. If you don't understand anything, please do let me know, because this is really my first time organizing something like this, and I have no prior knowledge or experience in organizing a competition. So this is the very first time, and unfortunately, because of my budget, I have to fork out my money to actually have the website set up and everything as well. So I can't have a very sophisticated website. It's a very simple website. So all the submission will have to go through email or WeTransfer, depending on how big the file is. So at the moment, I don't have an online upload system that will deal with things automatically, and I have to do everything manually. And also have a good judging panel as well, and I have Jay Dickman. Jay Dickman is one of our greatest Olympus ambassador and visionaries who's based in the States. He's also the award-winning news journalist and National Geographic photographer who you saw at the video at the beginning. The old gentleman, the white hair gentleman here, he's called Jay Dickman. He's a very known guy there, and he will be one of the grand judges who do the Photography of the Year reward judge. So that will be awesome. And I have all the other judges that's going to come on board. I'm going to slowly announcing them so that you have to stay tuned week by week to see who is actually be your judges. So that will be fantastic. So I hope that you guys would be able to participate in this competition and just showcase what you have. And like I said, there's no time limit. It could be images that you created many months ago, maybe even years. It does not matter. All we want to see is some creation from you, and whether it's going to be stills or video, so it doesn't really matter. And so yeah, that's all I want to say. I'm just super excited. I hope this is going to be successful. If it is, the prizes are going to get bigger and things are going to get bigger next year, because I hope to run this as an annual thing. And if you guys want to check out the website, please do so. And like I said, if you have any question whatsoever, please email me and let me know as well. I'm so excited. I'm really excited. Yeah, so okay, so before I go, let me just answer some people. I saw some more people have jumped on board now. Let's see here. Okay, and a few more people as well. Let me say hi first. So hello, Wee Wet. That's good. And Rudolph, Sweden. Yeah, Connor, James Wong, and Piotr, Taru, Steve, Jill, George, Claude, Perry, ready. Excellent. Victor, that's good. Hello, from Slovenia. Ooh, cool stuff. Robert, hello. And Paul Chan from Vancouver. That's fantastic. Wow, we've got all over the world. So please share your images. I want to see everything that you capture in your area in the group, so like we can kind of experience and travel together, so to speak, virtually in a way, and then we can see different places. At the moment, we have a lot of images already in the group from Netherlands, from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, and I will want to see more images from all of you. Okay, that's good. So let's get on with today's topic. Okay. There's a reason why I said that. It's not a clickbait. It really isn't a clickbait. And that's also another reason why I want to repeat that same intro video that I showed you earlier. It's also for another reason. Not only that I want to show Jay Dickman and who Jay Dickman was, but also there are a lot of really good messages in that video itself. Okay. For those who, let's recap a little bit. For those who are new to photography or new to Olympus, and I don't know how many of you are long-term Olympus users, but if you're not really someone who are into photography for so long, you may not actually get the whole gist of it. So Olympus is one of those companies that popularize smaller format cameras, and also more into the affordability side of it. I made a bit of a video actually specifically talking about this last year, and it was quite a popular videos on YouTube, and you can really kind of Google it. It's called The Truth of Olympus. I think that's the title. So I talked about how Olympus company or the actual corporation worked. There are 3 disciplines within the companies, and obviously that now is slightly changed now. And as you may or may not have heard, that Olympus has sold the imaging business, which is one of the 3 businesses within the corporations now is separated from the mothership, and so it is now becoming a separate entity. But as you may also be aware, that Olympus is keeping 5% from this new business ventures together with GIP. There's a good reason for it. I'm going to come on to it a bit later on. But for those who don't understand how Olympus operate, or what's the essence of business and how they get into the photography business, is that they have been developing optics. And this is their first kind of business or invention in a way. Is they always started with optics, but they didn't start making optics for cameras. They started optics designed for actual microscopes, and then more into the medical side. So it's all scientific things. It's nothing to do with what we see and feel today as a consumer. And well, actually people who are working in the hospitals and in the medical field would know those really cool Olympus medical devices. But we, as a general consumer, we never ever see or experience these any things like that. But they have been doing that for over 100 years, and that's how long they have been operating. And this is also what brings majority of the income and also turnover for the entire empire. The imaging business is actually very, very small by comparison. And also another thing is that imaging division is also acting as an R&D for all the medical designs. So that is something that I think what drives them to keeping that 5% of that thing. From what I understand at the moment is that the new entity from JIP and Olympus, now the new entity is called the OM Digital Solution. That's the new company. So why are they keeping 5% of that new company is that they want to maintain the tie there, because under the clause of the definitive agreement is that they are transferring all the R&D and also manufacturing facilities to the new company. So that R&D that I just mentioned, that the imaging business were developing, research and developing all the optical designs for the medical equipment, are going to be going to the new company. So that's what's happening. Yeah, all the engineers, all the optical designers are going to the new company. So that 5%, not only they want to keep the actual engineers on board, so because they are familiar with what's happening in the medical field, they are the people who design all these lenses. So they are keeping that tie there, so that they can continue to contract the new company to do work for them. So that's good in a way for the new company, is that they have first of all, they have already a long-term customer that's going to be on board. That's Olympus themselves. So that is really cool, right? So that's one thing. And secondly, they don't have to worry about continuity. You know, they don't have to hire new engineers to do new things. They have a bunch of people who knows Olympus for 50, 40, years, long time. You know, a lot of these engineers, even in the UK, I've met some of them, and they already been working with the companies for 30, 40 years. Some of them are really that old, I'm telling you. So like they know their medical stuff inside and out. You know, they don't want to get rid of these people. These are the knowledgeable guys that they need for this whole unit to function. So it's really fantastic to see that happening, and also seeing that tie that's still maintaining between Olympus and OM Digital Solution, or Olympus/JIP thing on the side. So that is good. So that's why they're keeping that 5% there. And it's very solid. That's very good. And also saying that the imaging division will continue to receive some kind of financial support in a way of being a business income from Olympus themselves. So that is something is guaranteed already. So hopefully now the restructuring is started already, and the future is somehow, I think, it's brighter than before. The reason I want to say that is now the new entity will have a new head. Yeah, so they no longer have to confine within the kind of original Olympus culture. So they can see things in a slightly different angle, and they can kind of see the world in a slightly different way. Because these are people who may not be associating with Olympus for so long, and they obviously are aware of what's going on. They're going to employ, hopefully, someone who are familiar and also experienced within the industry to kind of see things through. So that's my hope, and obviously that I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic about the whole situation, but I'm feeling positive about the whole thing, especially what I just said to you about the 5% thing, and I can see that continue for the foreseeable future. And another thing is about the whole new entity is that you can already see some changes in terms of directions there. Is that they are slowly pushing towards what I would call that the hybrid market, and which somehow that they have ignored for quite some time. Don't forget, I know a lot of you guys are, great photographers. A lot of you love photography. So this is something that I would also like to say is that, we have to accept that the new market is coming in. The new generation is coming into the market. They are looking for tools, cameras that can give them basically functionalities of photography and also video, and this is really important. I know that you may not be interested in video, and but this is where the market is driven. You can see that there are a lot of younger photographers out there, but they shoot both. They shoot both videos and photos at the same time, and many of the younger generation creators, they also do both. So there are many of them are doing similar things, and you can see why this year especially, you can see not just Olympus but any other companies out there are doing similar things, targeting vloggers, targeting beginner videographers, and these sort of things. These products are starting to pop out everywhere. It's because this market exists, and this market is coming in a very strong and rapid way. There's no denying that. And for a company who wants to survive in the future, and I think that we have to support and also create something for these people. So I think that it's quite obvious that we can't get rid of them. We cannot also isolate ourselves from this market. Otherwise, we are always going to be a little bit behind, and from other companies. So that's why we have to kind of look into the video world in a slightly different perspective, and hopefully that this new entity is going to give us that angle and that push. Hopefully that in the future product is going to have some exciting development in some, whether it's going to be sensors, whether it's going to be autofocus systems, whether it's going to be AI deep learning thing that we already have in the EM1X. So this is something, it will be exciting. We know that Olympus is already capable in photographic terms, they're really good stuff. So there's no, I don't need to say anything more apart from that, that they're really great. So they don't really need to worry too much. We already have a strong fan base here for photography, but they need to build on the the video side. So because Panasonic has caught up, they have done really well in the videos, and they really done well with the G9 and stuff like that to push into the photography market. So I think Olympus is really logical for them to really kind of do the reverse as well, trying to get into the video side, and we're really seeing signs of it, such as now they're working with Atomos, which is a big brand for video stuff, to produce a compatibility link there with the Atomos Ninja 5, so you can record raw video directly from EM1X and EM1 Mark III. So that alone is actually quite a big step. It may sound trivial, but it's actually a good stuff to have, and also a good link to have with a dedicated or professional video market maker. Think these are really, really important steps. So hopefully I'll see some more collaboration, more things to do in the future, and we shall see what happens. Okay, and so another thing that why I would like to say that Olympus doesn't love you, yeah, is true, and that is very true. Why Olympus doesn't love you? Because they love something else. And I saw I saw a comment earlier saying that it was a clickbait. So it wasn't really a clickbait, because I want to highlight the fact that Olympus is a slightly different company. They are a passionate company. They are very how will I put it? They're very passionate about something, which I already showed you in the video. Is photography, and it started not now, not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, but all the way back in the 1960s and 1970s. And that's how long ago they have been doing that. And they saw that the market was really struggling in terms of affordability for photography. Even though you may think, it has always been affordable, it wasn't the case. Buying film rolls were expensive. Whether you're going to be shooting like 35mm format or medium format, they were expensive. They will always be expensive. But they created the pen, the original pen. That was a half frame camera. The reason why they created that camera is that your roll of 36 exposure can instantly split into two. Well, each frame can split into two, so that means you have 72 exposures per roll. So that would mean that you get 70 photos per roll instead of 36 at half the cost of your whole kind of expense. And that is genius. And they started it, and they popularized it, and then they basically make a whole line of pen cameras out in all half frames, and it got people shooting more. And that it's amazing how small things like that people may actually take it for granted these days, and by introducing a smaller format actually makes it more popular and makes more people go out and shoot more. And this is another example for why Olympus has stuck with the 4:3 format, because they can make things more affordable. You may actually think that EM1 III, EM1X are expensive. Even the lenses, the pro lenses, people were thinking, oh man, the pro lenses are expensive. But look, for the equivalent and in full frame or even bigger format, they are 50, maybe double the price. Not only body, but also lenses. Forget about the weight and the size things. Just think about affordability side of it. So like, I can get a pro body, pro lenses. Let's say just one body, one lens in the pro terms, so I can get it within $2,000. Yeah. Can I get the pro body in full frame and a pro lens in a full frame for $2,000? No, I'll probably have to pay £3,500, if not £4,000. So that's the difference. So I mean, if as a pro, I don't need to use that many megapixels, for instance. If I don't need that, and if you really think about it as a photographer, I'm a pro, so I kind of assess what I need for my jobs. And I can see that I can perform as good, if not better, than using any other system. I mean, I have full frame cameras, but I just don't use them anymore because I use the Olympus stuff. Not that I'm an ambassador, I'm just speaking from an affordability side of it, from a business point of view, and also from the performance point of view. I can create equally good images from the Micro Four Thirds sensor. All you need to know is how to expose, how to execute, how to take a photograph. A lot of people may just think that if I get the latest and the greatest, that will help me become the best photographer in the world. That's not the case, right? You all know that. Even if you spend £10,000 buying a Leica, spend another £12,000 on a Leica lens, say 0.95 Noctilux, would that give you an automatic ticket to take the greatest shot ever? That can beat all the greatest photography in the world. No, not necessarily. So people have taken it the wrong angle right from the start. And so I personally think if you know what you're doing, if you know exactly what you want, and assess you as a photographer, what sort of thing you want to do. You want to travel, you want to have a light system, you want a portability, go and do it. So get the Micro Four Thirds system. I think that's the best kind of compromise you can have in a tool that you take out to actually shoot with it. And I still remember the days when I have the full frame camera is that they're so heavy, bulky. It actually did obstruct me. Actually, every time I go out, I was just thinking, should I take my camera, or maybe I just take my phone, or just take my point and shoot camera, because of how big it is. It's nothing else. It's just so big and heavy, and I often just leave my camera there and just take a smaller option if I can. But now I can carry a Micro Four Thirds system and out and about. Like, let's just look at this tiny thing. This EM10, just tiny. All my Pen F, it's just really small. So like these guys are so small. I just shove in my bag, and it doesn't really take up any spaces. I can even take another 2 lenses in it. It still feels that light. I don't have to worry about too much. And that's the beauty of a smaller format. Similar thing to what they did with the original Pen half frame camera. They are making affordability to the entire world, and making people who are really into photography but never could whether you could be physically able to carry the system, or whether their pocket is deep enough to afford those gears to go out and shoot. But now you have a better, smaller, portable and cheaper option that you can basically take out and shoot. This alone is good, and that is why I said Olympus doesn't love you, because they love photography. That's what I want to say. So the Olympus love photography. It's nothing to do with person. And you can see that how they would focus on photography so many years, and I think this mentality is going to be transferred into the new OM Digital Solution, this entity, because most of the staff are actually going there, so that will be good, and that's a good sign as well. It's just they may have a slightly different marketing concentration, which is good, because I think that they could do a little bit better with the marketing. But then just look at it as a culture first. How much they love photography. They don't necessarily love you, because they're, especially in the modern days now, you can see people are switching camera brands, switching camera system almost on a daily basis. People just switch all over the place now. It's not about brand loyalty, but people are more gadget encouraged. They see new tech coming out, new feature. I want to try that. I'm fascinated with these 100 million pixels. They are fascinated. And don't get me wrong, I'm fascinated myself, but as a professional, I spend my hard-earned cash to buy a camera system to make money, and that's my job. Of course, I have my personal projects and stuff like that as well, but that's the main reason for it. And if I need to do that, I'll be, first of all, wasting a lot of money. I'm not that rich, so I cannot afford a new system every 2 days. That's not me. And even though I may be fascinated by it, but I don't need it, and that's not my business need, nor my thing that I want to do. I only change camera whenever my camera actually dies. So that's what it is. Lucky that I'm an ambassador now, so I have the perks. One of the perks is that I get to try all the latest camera, and so I do have access to all kinds of camera if I want to within the brand. So that's kind of the perks. But before I became an Olympus ambassador, I became like anybody who associating with Olympus, I don't change my camera for 4 or 5 years. I will literally wait until it dies completely, and then I will change, because that's business decision. You don't change your business vans every year, do you? You don't. You just keep on running it until you make your investment back, right? That's the whole point of it. So that's why Olympus is loving photography so much that they don't need to worry about what people think about them. Imagine this world now. Everybody's changing. Everybody say things about Micro Four Thirds, say things about my Olympus. Oh, they still haven't changed the sensor. It's still the same 20 megapixel sensor. Oh, this they're still shooting only this and that. Oh, look at this body is plastic, and oh, look at this. There's always going to be people who are dissatisfied with the brand or the products. I can guarantee you cannot satisfy everybody. Similar, when I produce a video, I cannot guarantee 100% like. No, never, ever. There are always going to be people who dislike me, people who don't agree with me. That's fine. There's the freedom of speech. That we're all entitled to our opinion. I never really disagree with anybody. You have your own thoughts, right? You can think about what you like, and if you don't like me, you can tell me constructively. What I don't appreciate is when people don't say me anything and just basically tell me to bugger off. But that is exactly what's going on around the world at the moment. There are people who are so brand loyal, or some. You can see people are being so vicious now. People are calling Micro Four Thirds, just go to hell, just die, and just disappear from this earth, just disappear. I don't see why people need to have been to be that aggressive towards companies. I don't want to see anybody goes down. I don't want to see Ricoh, Nikon, Pentax, or whatever Fuji go disappear in the world. I want to see them around. As a photographer, we always fascinated, also happy to see competition is good. Within the industry, you want people to improve. But if you're from another brand, you don't necessarily need to kind of step down on people, or look down on you because you're somebody else. You use Olympus or use Nikon. I'm a Fuji guy, so you guys are the worst people. This is not the way to say things. At the end of the day, you and I are photographers. You and I are creators. We create images, for the world to see, right? That's all it is. And that means what matters is this your gear that matters, or actually your photography that matters. I think it's the latter, right? I think you all agree it's the latter. The photography is what counts. When you go to competition, hey, my competition, I'm not going to judge you what camera you shoot. I'm looking at your image. I'm looking at the story behind the image. I'm looking how you capture that, how good the skill you have in terms of capturing that moment, or how you edit the photo. This is all that matters. It's all about you and then nothing else. I know we have the right to choose the tools that we like or enjoy to use, and that's completely fair. But we have no right to say that your system is inferior to mine because you use some other brands or you have a different model, whatever. No, I don't think that's fair to anybody. There will be people who may be super rich. They can get the latest and the greatest gear every year, and that's up to them. But you cannot discount all these people out there who may not be as wealthy as you are. They may be having an EM10, maybe even worse. You don't discount them. These could be even more creative than you are. Just because they can't afford the gears, it doesn't mean that they're bad photographers. So I think the whole society or within the photographic community should change the perception about how people think about the gears and the worth of it, what actually matters. And that's exactly what Olympus is. They don't love you because they love photography. You should concentrate on photography. Whatever you say about Olympus, they don't care, to be quite honest. They don't really care whether you like them, dislike them. They don't really. And I think that's exactly the point I'm trying to come across today, or trying to make, is that if you're a photographer, you love your photography. You don't have to worry about what people think about them. You're entitled to create your own image in the way that you want it to be. And then, of course, they're all subject to interpretation. And you and the artist, you can learn about how to present your photo in a certain way to convey your message over. That's something that I always kind of tell my students, and also tell my workshop people. I always tell them, it doesn't really matter about gears. You present yourself as an artist, as a photographer, as a creative. Do your own thing. But also at the same time, you have to learn about how to communicate as well. This is something I guess we all need to improve in many ways, is that as a photographer, it's harder to convey messages through photography, because sometimes you can take a photograph of a tree, but what's the message behind it? Why do you take a photo of the tree? Does it something that actually capture it, or capture attention? What's the story behind it? Or maybe you go traveling, you see something else out there, and you just capture that scene of people fighting, but why would they fighting? What were they doing there? There's a lot going on there in the world, and there's a lot more. It's a lot deeper than you might think. You have to look past the superficial thing, not just capturing that frame, but think about exactly what leading to that thing, leading to the event. What exactly happened there? Why you click that shutter? It's a good way to actually to shoot a series of photos, to actually basically document or storytell the whole journey of that particular frame that you capture. And that's another thing that I'm quite happy to do these days, and especially ever since I started doing videos, is that I video my journey and also document it, and eventually show that frame that I capture, and so you can see my journey and my thought process, why I want to capture that. And so the whole kind of storytelling, I know some of you guys, you saw my community post that I asked about storytelling. Some of you, I think quite a few of you wanted me to talk about storytelling. So I'm going to do another talk about storytelling maybe next week or the week after, and so more specifically about storytelling. But the whole gist of it is like that. It's a lot more in photography than you might think, and more than just clicking the shutter, capture a few frames of whatever you're looking at, and is more than that. But there you go. So that's why Olympus, they don't love you. They love photography. The same as you, and if you love photography, you really shouldn't care what people think. You know, we can make friends, we can be friends, but you like your photography, I like my photography, but we can communicate in a way through photography, and that way I think it's more fair. You know, you don't have to worry about too many things in terms of what brands, what things are people using, and you know, guys can do that geeky talks. You know, that's fine. You know, they can say about, oh, my camera can do whatever 2 million ISO, or my mechanical shutter could go up to 15,000 per second. You can do all the sort of geeky talk, but that's fun talk. There's nothing about you are bad, we're worse, or I'm better, things like that. Nothing about that at all. So hopefully you got my point. So it wasn't a clickbait. So I'm hoping you understand what I'm trying to come, so where I'm coming from, or what sort of thing that I'm talking about. Let me just see how many of you are talking about that. So do you guys agree or disagree? It's okay. We can all talk about it. I love this talk because I can express my view. I know that you guys express your view, which is actually quite good. I love this community here, and we all have their own saying, and it's all very good. I love that. So let's have a look, and it's quite a few messages popped already, and okay, right, and from Germany. Oh, okay. Let's buy Olympus all together. Jan. Okay, let's see who else here. You guys talk about buying camera. I'm just reading some of the comments here. You all talk about EM1.2 or EM1.3, right? You know, in the UK, and we have some great deals. I think it's still on at the moment. Is that you buy the EM1 Mark II, you give you a Pro lens, and that is cracking deal. That is cracking deal. I'm not sure whether they have it in your country, but in the UK, that is a fantastic news. I'm telling you, because you buy the EM1 Mark II, you can get you can choose any of the 17, 25, or the 45 1.2 Pro lens free of charge. They literally give it to you. So you are basically just getting a half price together, or just getting one for free. Yeah, that's cool. Right, let's see. I'm liking my very strong coffee, very bitter. Okay, let's question 2. Okay, is there an L bracket that allows for flip screen, Marsha? No, there is no L brackets that can accommodate a flip screen. It's just because of the nature of it. I have one right here. This is by Three Legged Thing. This is actually a oops, sorry, I'm just turning it down a little bit. So this is the L bracket that actually fits the EM1X. I have one that fits in the EM5 Mark II. Unfortunately, just the way it is, because it has to be completely in the same axis. You know, you can't have offset, because if you want a flip screen, the vertical bit has to be slightly offset to the back to allow the screen to be swivel over. But unfortunately, they can't do that. Otherwise, you're starting to have off center, and it will mean that you start straining the angle. That is never good, because you want the L bracket to be as strong as possible when you switch over the camera, especially when you want to mount very heavy lenses on it. So this is why they're made like that. But you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen one that has that will allow you to have a flip screen so far. All I've seen so far is all similar thing. Right. Okay. Is there any other question here? And Gilbert from Cuba. I love Cuba. How are you? And which part of Cuba are you from? Havana. Oh, Havana. Hey, I've been to Havana. I've been to Havana a couple of years ago now. It was a very interesting trip that we had. We loved it there. The food was cool. You know, got lots of seafood right there, and the place is such, you know, a great place for photography. I'm telling you, it's really cool. But how are you getting on there now in 2020? I know that we all have some kind of lockdown and some kind of you know, horrible pandemic things going around, and I'm not sure how everything is in Cuba. You know, are you experiencing the same thing as we are? You know, like we have like basically society lockdown. We can't go out and whatever. I hate this really changing lighting in here. And so good. Veronica from Illinois, from US. Hello there. How are you? I like that profile picture. That's good. Okinawa. Hello. Konnichiwa. Wow, Michael as well from Dominican Republic. Excellent. Thank you for the good vibes. Cool stuff. Sam Chang. Hello, how are you? I'm just clicking everybody's. And Romania, Adrian, hello there, how are you? And Carlos from Chile, yay. Very good. Rudolph, you have a OM2N from 1983. What a cracking camera you got there. I love that camera. And but I think, to be honest, I think out of all the OM film cameras that they ever released, I have two favorite. First is the OM1, the original. Actually, the original was called M1. How many of you actually know the original OM camera is actually called M? It wasn't called OM. It's just because they got a lawsuit by Mr. Leica. They don't like them to use the M designation because they have the M camera, so they don't want the confusions on the market, so they kind of get sued. So they later changed from M camera to OM, and so that's how kind of the OM brand started. Because if they didn't sue Olympus, they will probably have kept the M designation or the M model. So that means they're going to have M1, M2, N, M2, M3, M4. No, they have to change it. So, but my favorite would be the original OM1 camera, or M1, and then the later OM3. Right, I'm a big fan of mechanical cameras because both OM1 and OM4 are mechanical, full mechanical. That means you can operate the camera without any batteries. I don't know about you guys, but as a photographer, you know, like, okay, we are living in the digital age, which is slightly different. But back in the days when I was shooting with films, I always prefer using a full mechanical camera because I know it won't fail me. You know, and if anything goes wrong, I could almost fix it myself. You know, like all I need to do is take it apart. You know, maybe lubricate here and there, just loosen bits of it. You know, things would go back to normal. With electronic stuff, it's always going to be hard. And you know, you have to change maybe the electronic board, the circuitry, you know, like there's so many things that could go wrong. And once it's dead, you know, it's basically dead. You can't do anything. You have to replace the shutter. You have to replace everything. That's why I prefer mechanical cameras. And you all know that, you know, even today, if you have a good mechanical cameras, if you service it regularly, it still function. I mean, I have my 40-year-old 35 years old M6 still with me. You know, I still shoot with that thing, and that has been kind of my workhorse film workhorse throughout my career. You know, I've been using that like forever. It just doesn't break because it's a mechanical thing, and so it's a simple thing, but I love my OM cameras. They're just gorgeous piece of kit. They are well built as well. You saw the film earlier, you know, and they talked about the OM camera. That's exactly what I said about the OM camera. They are fantastically built. They also like fit in the hand really well. So just very much like today's OM camera. Is very similar finish, similar ergonomics. So you can just put it in your hand. It just feels right. This is something quite hard to explain to a lot of people who may not be using the Olympus camera. It's hard to justify in a way, you know, and how good it is when you hold up the Olympus camera. And when they do, I'm telling you, I went to a couple of photo walks a couple of years back now. That's way before I became an Olympus ambassador. But I bought my Pen F. My Pen F, my favorite camera. And then I remember I took this guy over to a photo walk, and there were a bunch of photographers who are more like collectors, so they have a lot of expensive gears, and they saw me holding this Pen F here, and they basically, oh, what's that thing there? I was like, oh, it's an Olympus pen, and I said, oh, can I have a look? I give it to them, and they have to, oh, this thing feels good. It feels solid. You know, like these guys owns cameras, like I'm talking about 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 pounds cameras. These are collectors. And they've said to me how good it feels in their hands. And these guys are touching like all kinds of exquisite cameras in the like, you know, throughout history. They know what they're talking about, and that actually shows how good Olympus cameras actually is in terms of build wise and ergonomic. So like this is something that you really cannot take away with it, and you cannot really proven, you know, until you really hold the camera in your hand and starting to feel. And then when you have a really good design, it really makes that connection there as a photographer, you know, like when you hold it, you know, either just like that, you know, you can just basically feel the dials or the buttons in the right places, and it just, you know, takes your heart, you know, just hold the camera up to your face and just start clicking away, and that's how good it feels and how good it makes you feel when you're starting photographing it. So that is something different. So Casper from Denmark, hello, and hello Zico, Remco, Yo Chan from Hong Kong, hello Lei Ho. I can still speak Cantonese. I can speak Cantonese. And we went, hello you, and those people are the most valuable assets from Olympus. Burana, good evening, how are you? From Thailand, how are you? And we can't compare JRP Vio to JRP Olympus. Olympus is huge compared to Vio. It's way, way bigger, I'm telling you, it's way, way bigger. And I think because of that reason, JRP doesn't want to fail either. So that's, you can see, they were starting to put a lot of resources, a lot of effort into making sure that it works. And that's something that I'm feeling already. So hopefully it's going to be a super positive outcome. But we obviously, nobody can predict the future. Nobody can see the future. We don't know until maybe 2021, 2022, until we're starting to see the changes. Because at the moment, they're still following everything Olympus already set out, before, with the roadmaps on the products and lenses and cameras. So at the moment, a whole bunch of stuff is already in place for the next couple of years. So we won't see the real effect of it until, maybe after 21 or 22 even. And but the future is bright. We just don't know. We just hope, tomorrow is going to be a better world. We all hope that because of this pandemic year anyway. So hopefully tomorrow is going to be a better day for everybody. Let's see something else here. And so many firsts came from Olympus. Wow. Yes, Frank, that's absolutely correct. From Kodak and Olympus. Rich Fisher, hello from Illinois as well. Ooh, how many of you from Illinois? The USA. Quite a few of you, that's cool. Hello, D-Diver. From Los Angeles, LA, yes. Oh, how are you guys with that forest fire that you got there? Is it LA? And I hope you guys are okay and not getting smoked up. And it's quite hard when you are living across the pond. You see the news. We don't see everything, of course. We don't see the daily update or anything like that. Similarly, you guys can't see what we are going through here as well. I can tell you a little bit update in London is that we are currently experiencing a high number of cases within the UK. Things are kind of going up and then coming down again, and it's kind of like a yo-yo thing. I don't think we can ever get back to normal unless we can deal with it. At the moment, I don't think we can deal with it. Nobody else can. I don't even know. I can't even see when the vaccine is going to come out. Even though we may have a next vaccine, we still don't know with the extent of it, how well the vaccine is going to work, or whether it's going to be completely safe or good to use. We don't know, and until then we shall see. But at the moment, I guess we just have to live the way we are and continue the way of life that we have in the last 6 months, and just continue living and creating whatever we want to do. So photography is a good pastime hobby, I guess. And even though I'm professional, I haven't been shooting professionally for the last 6 months. So that's something that I guess I have to get used to myself. But I have you guys here. I'm going to continue making content. Hopefully my content will be as useful and fun and entertaining at the same time for all of you to watch. I'm not sure how many of you are first time here. If you are, and welcome to Red 35 Photography. So that will be cool. Jeff, and hello, first time on my live chat. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me, and hope you enjoyed it so far. I'm always talking quite fast. If you can't hear me, please let me know. And I tend to talk too much. That's why I need a big cup of coffee, and I need a lot of battery in my camera, and so it lasts through the entire talk. Okay, Roberto, hello. It's still a good deal to buy the Pen F from Portugal. I think Pen F is Who agrees with me? The Pen F is the most passionate camera that Olympus ever produced. Me. I think the Pen F is by far the most passionate product they ever produced. I think they put their soul and mind into this product. Just look at it. It's not just the design, but you can actually feel. Remember, I talked to you guys about photography, how they love photography, how they don't care about anybody else, And I think this is exactly the child from that passion, towards photography. They created this so people can take photographs with their heart, and this, I don't want to say anymore. People might think I'm crazy. So, but I love that camera. I think, if you can still get hold of one, let's say you have the spare cash, and let's say you're always looked up to one, I think yes, get one, and that's how good it is. Even though it may be a few years old already, but I still think if you're a photographer, you'll be fine with that, because it's not slow. It's not actually bad camera. You know, like the sensor's still capable. You know, they still produce one of the best colors in the world, and also that dial at the front, the black and white mode that can simulate anything you like in black and white. It's fantastic. So that if you are into black and white photography, this could be the camera to get, and I think that's really cool. That says it all. I think I'm going to make another video about Pen F. Who wants to see another video of Pen F? I love making Pen F videos. I've already make about 3 videos of Pen F. I think that's how much I love about Pen F. Yeah, I'm just crazy. Okay, markers, not gonna lie, and step 2 is the plastic. EM5 III was slightly disappointing, but I hope I can see an EM5X going back to metal. Right. Frankly, but that's another thing I want to clarify a little bit. And yes, there could. I'm not suggesting it is, but it could be a reason that there's some cost-saving exercise there from moving from metal to plastic. But at the same time, you have to think about it. And camera manufacturers have been using plastic for their pro cameras for a long time. Look at the likes of Canon and also Nikon. Back in the 90s, they starting to use polycarbonates for the professional market, or at least the high-end semi or series amateur models, like the Canon EOS III, the F100. Oh, no, sorry, not 100, F70. So these are plastic cameras, but they are as good or as reliable, as rugged as the metal counterpart. Of course, it's not going to be the same strength. You know, you can't deny that metal body is going to be better and more strong. But the plastic doesn't mean it's any worse. You know, they've been using it for so many years now. And don't forget, we are also 20 years ahead now. We're looking at a slightly more modern composite, and the plastic is going to be definitely better than what they had back in the 90s. So like, don't actually be discouraged because it's using plastic bodies now, and is actually very good. And so many people have a lot of reserve on the plastic body, because also there's potential breakage from the bottom tripod mount here. And I keep saying time and time again, people, it's more of a user error than anything else, not the material failure. All material will fail. And you just look at the design of, well, that's kind of the design flaw, I guess, from Olympus. They put the tripod thread so close to the edge of the actual body itself. Even though this is made from metal, it will still bend if it doesn't crack. I'm telling you, if you mount a heavy lens on it, then you mount the tripod plate onto this here, and if you don't use the tripod collar that comes with the lens, you are really risking breaking it. Whether it's going to be metal or plastic, it doesn't really matter. And I've seen them. I've seen people actually mounting a 40 to 150 2.8 with a teleconverters and put the whole entire weight onto that little thread there. Of course it's going to break. You know, like and it's not going to hold. For instance, everything has a design capacity. Once you reach that, it just fails. And you know, I don't think it's the right thing to say that, you know, it's any less reliable or just anything worse than anything else. They are designed there for a reason, and obviously you have to use it according to what they tell you to do, not to exceed the limit what this thing can hold. If you do, yeah, unfortunately, it's more like a user error to me than actual design flaw. Even though I think that, yeah, maybe it's a little bit too close to the edge of it, but I think that even that, you know, they already told you that what sort of capacity you should carry, and once you exceed it, once you mount a big long lens in it and you're trying to use that to hold everything, it's not going to work. Okay, and Mark, all parts should be full metal, indestructible, and weightless. Then my phone, we have 400 millions, should be perfect composite. Yeah, well, I kind of say that, and I know it's. I mean, I would like to see metal, you know, for like the Pen F is a good example. Pen F is full metal, but you can see how close it is in terms of the actual tripod thread. It's even closer than the EM10. So like, imagine if I mount a 300 F4 Pro with teleconverters on it, and I just use this to hold the entire kit. I'm telling you, this may actually bend, and I'm not joking. So try not to risk it and trying to damage your camera, and then you come back and say that everything is just a design flaw. I don't think it is, and it's more like people have mounting too many things on the camera and trying to let that little thread there to take all the weight. That's what the problem is. Okay, the solo traveler. I respect all camera gear and photographer. I don't choose. I think yes, absolutely. I respect all photographers. I do respect them. It's no, you know, it's no. It's almost like freedom of speech in a way. You know, you're entitled to produce your work and let the world see your work if you choose to let people see your work. And then then once it's exposed, and I just watch them, I look at them, I read them, you know, if I can. So I go to different groups and different things. I always stroll through all the photographs that people posted online. You know, whether I like it or not is entirely personal and my personal preference. Nothing wrong with posting your photos and things. So I always respect people, I do, and then I think that's the good way of just seeing things and experiencing photography in general. Right, what is this? Sorry, I'm just scrolling through my messages here. Right, criticism. Okay, critiques. It's a hard thing, you know. I guess a lot of photographers may like to criticize things just because that's the way they are, and they like to see. I would say technical incompetence in the photographs. They try to pick things out in a way. It's just like a lot of technical reviewers, and you know, when they review cameras, they would talk about how bad this and that, you know, from a camera, you know, but they never really say it's a bad camera. They just pick out certain things that they think is not good enough, or in today's standard, or whatever, when you compare this and that. So there are people who are like that in photography as well. They would just simply pick out things that they don't like to see, but not necessarily they're right, and not necessarily it's a bad image, you know. I mean, that's why I always say that when people criticize a photograph, I always say to them, you know, can you give a more specific and more constructive way of saying why this photo is bad? You know, it's not just about, oh, this thing is way overexposed, but maybe that overexposure is deliberate. You know, you heard about high key photo, you heard about low key photo, you heard about negative space, you heard about different composition skills. You know, there are ways people want to convey the message. Like I mentioned to you earlier, there are ways people want to see things. You know, that's their entitlement, that's their creation, right? But you know, obviously, if there's a technical error there, yes, you point it out and try to explain it, you know, in a more constructive way, rather than just say, oh, that's a rubbish image and then that's not good. But why is it not good? Try to explain, you know, why exactly it is. Maybe that person then will say to you, oh, I did this because of this and that. Then you understand, you know, like it's a communication there. So I think that is good to communicate two ways, not just always one way. Okay, I show you my image with my vision, and then you have your reading of my image, and then you interpret in a slightly different wrong, and so different directions, and that's entirely up to you. But if you start to criticize because something that is completely different to what I envision, and then we should talk. We should talk. We're communicating, right? You know, like, it's so good about photography. Okay, let's come in and see another thing here. Right, greeting from Los Angeles. Yes, I see. Oh, it's twice now. Okay. 3, Yasmin Yao, you have 3 Olympus. Whoa, what 3 cameras have you got there? And okay, let's see. Oh my God, you got your camera stolen. I got my camera stolen before. Solo travel. My first camera was the Nikon G40X, and then bought the GX4. Fantastic camera as well. GH4 is one of the pinnacle cameras for Panasonic that kind of propelled them into the professional video world in a way, and that's what revolutionized the GH line. I know the GX1, GX2 are pretty good there, but GX4 is really kind of what got everybody talking, and then obviously subsequently the GX5 became kind of like the standard for a lot of videographers there, and especially travel videographers and filmmakers, and it's a really good camera. Right, do you think that the EM1 Mark II will get any new functionality via firmware update? To be quite frank, I doubtful. They might still receive some updates for compatibilities or maybe critical fixes and things like that in the future. But I doubt that they're going to introduce any new functionality after 3.0, because 3.0 is already quite a major update. And from what I've been told, that the processor, the TruePic 8 processor, is already reaching the limit of what it can do in terms of future updates. And when I say that, it's like any new functionalities, such as the enhanced eye and face detection that's on the EM1 Mark III, that is a very process-intensive task for a processor, and because you have to analyze the scene and pick out where the eye is, pick out where the face is, you have to recognize it. There's a lot of things going on there, so it's not a simple task. You may sound simple, but if you're trying to put the same features into the EM1 Mark II, you may find it very sluggish. You may find it like not accurate because it's just not fast enough to process. So that means that there may be a limitations on what sort of new feature it can be incorporated into the future. So there may be something, but I think that major functionalities will probably be very limited for EM1 Mark II. And but I think EM1 Mark II is as good as it can get now as a camera. It's a digital camera. And to be honest, if you ask me to recommend EM1 Mark II, I can still very happy to recommend that camera to anyone who wants to shoot a Micro Four Third, especially in a very demanding area. You all know that EM1 Mark II is so rugged and so well built. It just you can withstand all kinds of environmental elements. If you decide to take it to a very humid rainforest and things like that, it will survive. That thing will survive. Right, and let's see. Marcia had that fairy bracket. Oh, right, okay. And let's see then. And okay. Oh, Adventure Geeks from Poland. Hello there. How are you? Let's see. Yakov, with what compounds would you be okay if JIP makes cuts in the future product? Hi from Croatia. Right. I don't necessarily think there will be a compromises. I mean, obviously, it's quite hard to tell at the moment because it's in the future and we don't know what sort of direction that it's going to take. At the moment, I think they're trying to figure out a business plan for the next few years. And that will be the post-Olympus era. At the moment, we are still in the Olympus era. When I say that, because like I mentioned earlier, the current companies, the OM digital solution companies that they formed recently, is going to continue carrying on with the business plan that they had, that they made actually a couple of years ago. So all these products they're going to release and produce are continue following the plan. They're not going to go sideways or do something else. They may if they have the extra budget. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that at least the bulk of it is going to follow the same plan. So the future is going to be slightly different. We don't know yet. And like I said, the JIP already starting to research other areas, that could potentially kind of utilize whatever they are already researching or producing. Optics is one big thing. So they're thinking about how they can make more, utilize more with their optic designs. Like they're very good engineers. So you can see that we love our Olympus lenses. They are really one of the greatest lenses. Even, I mean, I use Leica lenses. I used really good glasses before, and I could personally say that, confidently say that Olympus lenses are definitely one of the best out there, especially the pro lenses is just among the best out there. And for that reason, that means the optical engineers are very good. And in that case, why waste them if they can do something else? So I think that they're looking into a lot of things at the moment. They might be, I know a lot of you guys have already seen it. They might be venturing into security side, security cameras like CCTV, which is no bad thing, And if they can produce the lenses, they already have the sensor for all the endoscopes and things like that. They have the technology. All they need to is to tweak it a little bit and make another products out of it, which is still completely Olympus or OM digital solution thing. And so it doesn't deviate from what they do. They already have scientific solutions before in their own Olympus corporate. They have medical stuff. So what's different? There's no difference there. They're just producing another product for another market. They haven't really going to escape or try to abandon the camera market because that is already functioning very well. I can't see that is going anywhere soon. If you look at some of the latest news, especially, you see that Olympus actually. Not at the bottom. If you look at the overall camera shipments and also profits, Olympus isn't at the bottom. There are other companies actually doing worse than Olympus. So I don't see Olympus actually doing any worse at all. It could be better, but I don't think it's actually not in a very bad position. So now what JIP can do is obviously trying to make it more agile in a more compact company so they can maneuver quicker, adapt to changes in the market quicker. And that's how a lot of companies need to do these days, is that unless they have unlimited budget, for smaller companies, for people who may have limited budgets, having a slightly smaller unit means that they can adapt quicker. And I think that is a good thing that they're doing with Olympus at the moment, and we do hope this will be the way forward, and we'll see more exciting stuff from them, and that's what I want to see. Okay, and Let's see. We have certain restriction. Oh, well, you do. Okay, you have 7 p.m. curfew in Havana as well. Oh, wow. But October we open. Oh, okay. So you kind of locked down in September. You're gonna open up in October, which is now actually. Now it's October. Well, we are just about to lock down again. So there you go. That's the way we live in 2020. Okay, that's cool. And let's see. Yeah, all mechanical manual makes you a better photographer. Doesn't make you a better photographer. I just feel better when I have a mechanical camera. Okay, and the customer buying camera. Sorry, my kids are shouting. They are just back from school. Hello, Annabelle. Okay. Hello. The thumb rest place on the OMD EM10 Mark III went out. Is this a known issue? No. No, I don't think so. I have the Mark III here. I have Mark III here. You mean this grippy bit here? This grippy bit. Unfortunately, I mean, if you still have the extended warranty that you bought with the camera, you can actually get it replaced quite quickly. And I haven't heard a lot of people actually failing this bit. I've heard see the grippy bit actually peel off. You can either stick it back if you still have that piece there. If not, you can get it repaired from Olympus, and that's another thing. And the Olympus service is going to continue with no changes. So if anything wrong with your camera, you can still send it back to do some repairs. I don't think it's an expensive repair, so you probably can get it fixed quite quickly. Okay, and let's see here. Oh, Burana, you saw the M1 and the 51.4M system too. Yeah, that's cool, right? The M system. They later changed to OM system. It's unfortunate. Damn Leica. Even though I like Leica, but damn you. Why did you do that to Olympus? Why can't they use the same name? Just a different camera. One's rangefinder, one's an SLR, just different things. And after 23 years today, I took a photo on film on my Zenith camera. Ooh, you have a Zenith. I have 5 Zenith cameras. And after a few days, I got the result. I hope that were exposed correctly. Oh wow. And film is good. No, don't forget, film has much greater latitude when it comes to development. So even if you over or underexpose a little bit, you can rescue it through developing. So it's quite an easy fix. And that's why, like, when we first moving from analog to digital photography, a lot of photographers struggle because they had a much more flexible system to work with when they're in the film era, when they were using film stock. And when they turn to digital, things becoming more like 1 and 0, especially the early days of digital photography. The dynamic range of the cameras is very limited, and that means that you have to get it right. If you get it wrong, it's quite hard to rescue the highlights or the shadow. So like this is very, very important to nail that. But today, as of like 2018-19, processor has become so good, and now you can have a much bigger dynamic range to actually work on. And Olympus actually, in contrast to what everybody thinks, their sensors actually one of the best in terms of dynamic range on the market. If you go on DxOMark, you can check out other people there, other websites. The EM10, even the EM10, the latest Mark IV, or the EM1 Mark II and Mark III, the dynamic range on the sensor is actually among the best, if not better, than the APS-C equivalent. Between ISO 200 to I would believe the 800 or 1600, I cannot remember now. Within that range, the dynamic range with from the sensor is actually better than them. So like people always complain about it, but you just don't know what you're talking about. We have to work through the file. I mean, I work through my highlights and shadow all the time because I shoot daily, not this year, but like daily before, and in a high quantity. And I look at the files like always in different situations, high contrast scenes and everything. I always manage to process my photo brilliantly, and I don't have any problem whatsoever. So this is one good thing about Olympus sensor as well, which is actually very, very good. And okay, let's see another thing here. Any other questions? I'm still in love with my EM1 Mark I. It's a perfect tool for me. Fantastic. I respect you. Like I said, no matter what gear you use, as long as you produce fantastic photographs and the way that you like it, and that's the most important thing. And
It's sweet sour.
Do you use peak design capture clip? Do you know there's a eye bracket compatible to it? I'm not entirely sure. I don't use peak design stuff, unfortunately. I usually just have a very simple strap, if no strap at all. It's the way I work. Unless you're talking about the L bracket, and there's a little thing there that you can hook onto things. You can see that in the L bracket. You can. Does it focus? Does it focus? Yeah, because you get hooked onto the peak design kind of strap thing. So this is on both sides, so you can actually hook into it, or a strap if you want. Right. Okay. And let's see. Hello, Nick Can. Hello. How are you? James, I have an EM1 10 Mark III, love it. I would like to upgrade to a weather seal model someday. Yeah, if you want to upgrade to a weather seal, of course, the natural migration will be the EM5. That will be the weather seal model of the EM10, plus a little bit more in terms of manual override, so you can get more stuff from it. Let's see that here. I'm scrolling through. When is a photo bad? I had a concept shot that wasn't technically perfect. Had my doubts about using it all, but it got chosen as a photo. Different perception. That's exactly what I'm talking about. It's really difficult to say what is good, what's a bad photo. And at the end of the day, but however, I have to say, the trained eyes, people who understand photography would kind of read what you're trying to do. And then it's people who never really explore in a more artistic way of photography. It's quite hard for them to understand what's going on with the behind the scene, and always think it's a bad photograph. And obviously there is something that is very, very easy to digest. For instance, a landscape photo. If a generic landscape photo, if you've got like a beautiful corrected and also edited sunset or sunrise with beautiful scene, lots of colors, it's always perceived to be a very good photo just because it just looks gorgeous, right? It's just a visual thing. But there is something deeper, looking at some of the documentary photos, fine art photos, they are very, very hard to interpret. In that case, people might think it's a bad photo just because they don't understand it. So not necessarily they don't do it right, just because that's how the artist or how the photographer wants the photograph to look like. And it's a lot to do. I'm quite into talking about this sort of thing because I enjoy reading photography, and a lot of the time when I go to a museum, a photo museum, I look across all the halls and look at different photos and look at all the photographs there, and then I just can't, I just would like to just stand in front of photos for a long time, trying to digest it, trying to understand exactly what the artist is thinking behind the scene, what is going on behind the head, and just to see why he or she actually capturing the photo, what's going on behind it, what's the story behind it. I think that's really, really fun, and I really enjoy that. Okay, and I came from Ireland, from Dublin. Oh, I've been to Dublin. I love Dublin. And right, this is one directed me. Jimmy, you mentioned of lenses. How many do you own currently? Which one? Any favorite? I think that if you ask my wife, we'd probably have too many lenses, and that's what she would say. I have a lot. I literally have almost all the pro lenses that the Olympus currently offers. My favorite, or the one that I use the most, is the one that I'm actually using now on the camera, is the 17mm 1.2 Pro. That is by far my favorite lens, and I wouldn't say it's favorite in a way that kind of favorite, just because I use it a lot, and I prefer this focal length for a lot of my documentary portrait and also documentary work, because this is a fantastic focal length to work with. It's kind of not too wide, not like a 12mm or 24-inch full frame. I just love the 35 kind of focal length there. They just give me that enough intimacy there. I can get close to the subject without the distorting things, and then and if I get a little bit closer, I could easily isolate subjects, and so it's a fantastic focal length to work with. But obviously, different people have different opinions. And the other favorite would possibly my standard lens, the 25. And I have different versions of it. I have the 1.8, the premium lens. I also have the 1.2 Pro, which I use a lot for low light work. But I do like the the standard focal length. You know, the 50mm is actually good for me. So I do like that the focal length. I'm not sure about you guys. I mean, what sort of favorite you have, and that kind of my two favorite lenses. The other one that I do like as well is my workhorse is the 40-150 2.8 Pro. That will be my workhorse favorite because I use that lens because it's flexible and have the range between 80 to 300 in full frame terms at 2.8 constant aperture in also a very compact size. That is by far one of my favorite workhorse lenses because I just can shoot from afar if I want to capture some candid moments of my subjects, and that will be really good. So let's answer another question here. And Nick Can, okay, with 8K video being mentioned in upcoming various camera manufacturer products, do you see Olympus follow suit? So, sorry about that, just let me just see. Come on, can you just be quiet? I'm talking, okay? Sorry, my kiss is right next to me. So, the 8K video camera, like Sharp, I think Sharp is thinking about the 8K videos, and also think the Blackmagic is also thinking about 6K for Micro Four Thirds cameras. Olympus, I don't think in near term they're going to do the 8K video cameras, but they may up the game in the 4K side, so you may see 4K 60 or 4K 120. I'm just holding my hands up, I don't know. But I do think that they're seeing the potential, also seeing the demand is there. And from what I know, they are definitely pushing into the video side, and that would mean that they should have some new feature updates in the next couple of years. So we shall wait and see to see what happens in terms of what sort of thing they will bring on the table. I am hoping to see some really exciting stuff. And to be quite frank, you know, like I mentioned so many times, that I don't see the feasibility of it's feasible to use 8K video at the moment. I mean, I have no problem with that, but the problem for me is if I produce work in 8K, I think I may need to have a 20 grand worth of computer camera, a computer system to back up to actually process and edit them. At the moment, I think that it's going to be really a taxing task for the computer to actually work on 8K videos. You know, even in 4K, for instance, if you have a multiple stream going on, if you go do multiple layers, doing things like that, and even 4K, you are really pushing the camera to quite hot. You know, I'm not joking. And so unless you have a really good computer system to work with it, it's going to be a struggle. And also you're going to have a lot of like really expensive stuff to go with the computer as well. Like you can't use hard drive anymore unless you have a multiple array of RAID drives as a source drive, so you can work on those footage. Otherwise, you are going to be restricted to all SSD based, all flash based. It's going to kill your system. You're going to kill your budget. You're going to kill your wallet. I'm telling you, you can buy an 8K camera, but imagine what sort of thing you need to process those files. That's another thing that not many people talk about. That means that I think I'm quite happy with 4K. And to be honest, a lot of commercial clients that I have at the moment, they only need 4K as the maximum. Most of them actually ask me for 1080. So what happened? I shoot 4K and downsampling to 1080 when I output the footage. That's good enough. And I don't need any more. The 8K is up and coming, but I don't see it being mature until another maybe 6 to 7 years. Only because we have to have all the infrastructure in place. Like I mentioned, computer editing software, computer editing hardware. You need 8K outlets. We don't have many 8K TVs at home yet. Not only it doesn't exist, they do exist, but you don't have an 8K video at home. Not everybody have. So that means that until that happens, you don't see that coming. And you know, all the early adopters are just getting a bit tech savvy. You know, just be, you know, tech happy, just like the gadget side of it, more than actual using it to produce work. And I can't see that happening until you really becoming so it's the timing. Sorry, the timing has to be right. You know, I don't think it's the right time yet. Okay, and let's see any more here. Alan Chin, hello. Do you think JIP follow up with the launch of the Ollie 825 lens? Yes, that will be my prediction. Obviously, well, it kind of already happened anyway. So the agreement has signed, the new company has formed. So whatever they're going to launch next is going to be under the new company, and so that will mean that the forthcoming, it's on the roadmap anyway, it's no secret, the 8-25 zoom lens is going to be as a JIP issue. So we shall see what's going to happen, but it's going to bear the same name because they can keeping the Olympus brand on it. So we shall see how you perform. I'm sure that you'll be one of the first to know if you stick around this channel. Remember to subscribe and put on the bell notification so you know when that review comes out. Hopefully soon. I want to see that too. Okay, and let's see. Next. Oh, Terry, how are you, Terry? The rumored is Nikon Z9 looks really interesting for wildlife shooting. Maybe switching in a year. Let me know how it goes. And Nikon is really trying hard to produce a lot of mirrorless cameras out there in the in this year. Especially they have the Z6 and Z7 Mark II coming out, which is actually quite odd because judging by the Z6 and Z7 is actually not that old, to be quite honest. They're quite new cameras, but I guess they want to have some fixes and also maybe some improvement onto the whole system itself. So yeah, it's interesting. I think everybody's pushing that way anyway, and we shall see what's going to happen in the next couple of years. The Z9 certainly looks promising. That would be cool. But don't forget, you know, your full frame lens is going to be huge still, so that even you may have a really cool full frame mirrorless body, but if you want to get the same long tele lens and in terms of portabilities and weight and price, you can't beat the Olympus. Judging from that new upcoming 150 to 400 Pro lens, that is going to be a beast, and I cannot wait to see that thing. Dale, hello there. Hi Jimmy, been so busy with work lately. Great to drop in. Great to have you, Dale. Great to have you. My grippy bit that you pointed at is showing signs of movement and unsticking on the EM5 III. Oh, my one is actually right at the corner there. Right, EM5 III, you should still within the warranty. You should actually send it back or tell them that something is loose. They will fix it for you, and do it quick, as I think the EM3 is launched around about this time last year, wasn't it? The EM5 III. So I'm pretty sure it's still kind of within a year. Contact them now, get a reference number so you can send it out to repair. It's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for a lot of digital camera these, not just Olympus. It's just depending on how they actually stick this bit down and how tight you hold the camera. If you hold it really tight and constantly wriggling around the thumb and things like that, it will actually start to move around. My EM1 Mark II, the actual grip itself come off, and but I have, you know, I do shoot a lot with that thing, so that's not surprising, and I do see it as a common thing for a lot of users. So but it can be repaired. It's quite easy repaired. They may actually replace the whole sticky thing as well. So they just going to rip it out and put a new one in. Okay. Bob, hello from Germantown. Love my E1 Mark II, E1X. There's something special about the Pan F, of course. I always say about Pan F. I think I'm crazy about the Pan F. And Jason writes, hello, hey buddy, just bought the EM5 Mark III. Is there a way to quickly override the face detection shot without using the touch screen? When I use the arrow button, move the focus, but it doesn't work. I'm trying to understand your question here. Is there a way to override a face for a shot without? You can set custom button. You can set custom button and to basically switch on and off for the face detection. It's quite a simple thing to do, and yes, it can be done if you want to do that. You just have to go through the menu. I think under. I need to open up to see now. Oh, not this one. And I need to find one that has battery. This one. Sorry about that. So if you go to menu, I think it's under set custom menu. Go to B menu. B menu is where the button functions is. Go down to the first one, B1. I think B1 or B2, and then you can be able to set custom buttons. Once you do that, you just go through which button and which function you want that button to behave, and that will be it. You just toggle it on and off. Very straightforward. I know the arrow button can be annoying, and yes, it's an easy fix. So let's see another one. Do you think Olympus will ever release the anniversary edition of the EM1 Mark II with silver top, bottom plates, or even do a Mark III in a silver edition? I'm not entirely sure whether they will re-release it. I have one right here. And yes, I like it. I do like the silver Mark II. I doubt that they're going to re-release it because it was a limited run, and I think it was a slow start to sell. But then after about a few months, it's starting to heat up, and people just get hold of it, and I think that was it also now. You may be able to find secondhand, however, and I'm not entirely sure which region you're in, but I know they're quite quite hard to get hold of. Although having said that, I did see one on sale, secondhand, but it's good condition in the UK the other day. Yeah, they're not common, and if you want to find them, unfortunately. It's strange that when they first came out, the silver version, not many people actually paid notice to it. They still wanted the black version. They don't want the silver version. But after a couple of months, people started to look for it, and by then a lot of them had been snapped up already by people. And yeah, it's a weird thing. Human, we're all human. Okay, read the 17mm Pro. Mikatan just released upon. You guys know exactly what I have, right? Yeah. Stay tuned for my review video, guys. There you go. This is it. I got it right here. I think I'm one of the only guys in the West actually have it, and then so I'm gonna do a review. So stay tuned for my video. I hope that you enjoy it. So I have it right here. It's a really cool thing. I tested a few shots. It's definitely different, and I can tell you now. And but I don't want to spoil my video, so you just have to stay tuned for my review. It's a fantastic thing. Okay. No problem, they can. And let's see here. Minhai. There's no 8K TV display at affordable prices. Yes, let's not talk about responding to my earlier thing. Well, I'm back. Okay, so I'm nearly the end of the common section now. Let's see. Victor, about 20 years ago, I bought Sound System 5.1. It was expensive to find and content it. After about 5 to 7 came more affordable content for it. Yeah, you know, it's never too late to buy an old tech, to be quite honest. And you know, like most of us, you know, unless you're super rich for some reasons, and you know, if you look for something that you really enjoy, like owning, you know, let's say, and maybe in a few years' time, some of the models that you couldn't afford before will come down in price in used terms, or maybe even new. But then just because it's on the market for a few years, they start to reduce the price. And yeah, you know, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you enjoy it, as long as it's still working. Of course, it's working, and then yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I can happily buy an old model if the Silver Mark II is still on sale. I'll probably still buy it, you know, just because I just like the look of it. Okay, let's. Nick, can I use SSD with macro desk 1.5 terabyte RAM? I'm saying you got some bees there, boy. Okay, sorry, I don't know. Sorry, I apologize. I called it wrong. And yeah, it's a beast that you got there. 1.5 terabytes of RAM. Goodness me, R64 I thought it's good. 1.5 terabyte. Okay, and let's see. Hello, 131 Logan. I guess you're Logan. Where are you from, Logan? And let me know. Okay. Oh, Baran, you have a silver one too. Thanks for the job, all the tips. Could you tell me which lens is better for street on low light condition? I have an EM5 Mark II. Right. Street photography, well, it's always quite hard for me to recommend a lens because everybody got different preferences in terms of focal length. If you like to shoot wide and get close to a subject, like I do, I like to get close to my subject, even on the street, then I would use whatever I'm using right now, the 17 1.2. That would be fantastic for low light because 1.2 is actually pretty good at low light straight away. And I know I talked about the 0.95 lens that I showed you just now, but that's a manual lens, regardless of performance. So unless you are very proficient on using manual lenses on a body, it might be better off using an autofocus lens, and also being a native and supported lens from Olympus. The 17 1.2 will be my choice for street photography. But people have different ideas that they might like to have a 12mm focal length, for instance, maybe 24 in full frame. So that means that that will be the Panasonic Leica 12mm 1.4. That will be pretty good. But that thing is so heavy. That's why I don't like that thing at all. It's just big and bulky and heavy. And some people prefer standard focal length, like the 25 1.2. So it's just depending on what sort of style your photography is and what sort of distance you like to work with. It's always quite tricky to actually answer you. But for me, if it's me, I will have the 17 1.2 to go with your EM5 Mark II, which I also have here. Where's my EM5 Mark II? Oh, here. My EM5 Mark II is right here. Yep, okay. Yep, so it's perfectly okay. Oh, if you do get an EM5 Mark II, get this enlarged eye cup. Fantastic. I love this eye cup. This is a bigger eye cup. I think they call it eye cup large. Get it. You won't regret it. It's really good. Steve, hello. See the world. Can one photo be entered for multiple categories? Why would you want to do one photo in different categories? Do they actually do different things? You can enter as many times as you want, and that's the competition. Of course, there's no limit on the number of photos you want to enter. Of course, you can enter multiple category, but I can't see how that would be possible. Apart from there's one category, it's called open, which means that it can be anything. But then there's also very specific categories for different things, unless you mean you enter multiple categories. Yeah, of course you can. There's no limit on how many photos you want to enter. If you have photos for each of the categories, you are very welcome to do so. And yeah, there's no limit at all whatsoever. So that's good. At least one person wants to enter. That's good. How many of you want to enter my competition? You know, I spend a lot of time on it. Please support me. You know, and also, you know, it's not that I'm taking any profit and anything like that, you know, and I actually have prizes. I managed to convince these people, these lovely people, to give me prizes that I can give out, and so it's really good. Hopefully I can create a very healthy competition so everybody can enjoy their photography. You know, like I mentioned, it's all about photography here. There's no right or wrong there. If you guys want to enter the competition, please feel free. You can see on my website there. Just let me bring up that thing again. And so this is the competition details. Go to my website, seetheworld.gb.net. And see, these are the current sponsors. There may be more coming up, and I will announce all the judges in coming days or coming weeks. And yeah, coming weeks, I'm going to do maybe one a week, just to tell you who is going to be on what category in terms of judging. That will be fun. It's all fun. I'm going to also announce all the different prices as well, because at the moment I won't tell you what they are, but I can guarantee them they are very nice prices. Some of them are expensive prices. So if you want to join the competition, go to seetheworld.gb.net, and then you'll see the competition there. It will cost a little bit. I tell you that because I can't afford to run everything by myself, and I still have to send these prices out, so that will cost a little bit just to cover the postage cost, basically. So I'm not making any profit whatsoever. It's just purely I'm trying to create a community, a happy community for all the photographers and creatives out there, and just sharing our work, and hopefully be rewarded for it. That's the whole initiative from my point, and hopefully you guys will enjoy the competition. You know, I do hope that it's going to run as an annual thing. And if it does do well this year and successful, I'm pretty sure all these sponsors are going to come back next year with even better prices. So like, it's all about you. You know, if you guys support it, I'm pretty sure next year will be even bigger and better. We have bigger, more sponsors, maybe even better, more expensive prices. So it's all down to you. And I can only do so much from my side, by organizing it, by setting it up, by talking to these people here. And but it's down to you, how you want to enter the competition. Yep. Okay, and let's see here. I want a camera to use lens for my work as the Holy Trinity 2.8. I want to take automotive photography, mainly static. What would you recommend? Ooh, automotive, that sounds cool. Right. Okay, it's interesting because you may, if you just want the 2.8, Trinity will be, well, first of all, the 12 to 40, you can't get away with it. That will be the standard, the good standard 2.8 you want to get. The 12 to 40 is almost like a Swiss Army knife. You can do all kinds of stuff. The 40 to 50 is definitely fantastic. You can do close-up, you can do a compression in scenes, so shoot from distance, and also fast enough to track stuff. And I know you said mainly static, so but this is kind of like a dual thing as well. And then I think the 7-14 2.8. You know, I know it's ultra wide. That depending on your vision into automotive. Sometimes you may want to get a wide scene with the car right in the middle or something. Yeah, I think the whole Trinity thing will work for you. It's simple. I mean, obviously, if you want some specific needs and specific requirements, such as close-up details and things like that, you may want to invest into the macro lenses as well. I know you probably don't need it, but just in case you want to get really close to certain things, and you may have the ability to do it. But I'm pretty sure the Trinity is already good enough for you because you can get quite close. One of the good things about Micro Four Thirds or any mirrorless is that you can get close by default anyway with any lenses. most of them will have a minimum distance of 13 centimeters or something, which is actually quite close already. So you don't really need macro, to be quite honest, but you know, who knows? Who wants to shoot, how close they want to shoot. Okay. I could learn to dislike you, Jimmy. I remember to still like the girls of the silver edition. I've been looking around for almost 8 months now. You look so smart holding your one. So sorry, guys. So sorry, mate. And I know. I you know what? When I got this, I'm quite happy myself. And I initially, I'm telling you, initially, I wanted this to be my shell queen. I actually don't want to use it, but I thought, I'm a photographer. I mean, I buy a camera, I have to use it, right? You know, I know I have a lot of cameras, but I still, you know, like classic cars, you know, I like to take it out for spin every now and then just to keep it running. So I still use this guy here, and by using it, it has marks, unfortunately, so it's not going to be a perfect mint condition camera. But yeah, I'll try to keep it as clean as possible. So yeah, it's still going to be my baby, this one. Sorry of tricking. Okay. Right, I switched in sports photography and from Nikon to Olympus. How do you find it? How do you find Olympus in sports? I know a few sports ambassador in Olympus. They seem to have no problem shooting sports with the kit. Especially they use a lot of high-end pro glasses like the 300 f4 and the 40 to 150, which is a very common and a lens for that purpose. Which is a lot of people doing that. Let's see. And okay, let's have a look. Dale, hi. Can you explain the competition again? And for those who may miss the start of the video, right? Okay, sure. Let me just 1 second. I'm just trying to get hold of a Lego piece for my son right next to me. Okay, there you go. Right. Okay. So the competition is open to everybody, and there's no limit on when you shot the photos or use what gear. I do not limit at all. I know that I'm an Olympus ambassador. I know that I use Micro Four Third, but the competition is open to all. I would just want to see the photographs and images that you created from different categories. If you go into the website, you see the different categories I set up there. It's not going to be for, you know, there's too many categories to list, so I don't have everything, but it should be enough to cover most of it. I have a category called open. The category is called open, so basically if you don't see your images that is fit into any of the categories that I set up, you can put it in open, so that is fine too. And I also have one category for video, so if you happen to know someone or yourself shoot video, you can enter a video for competition as well. So what happens is each category will have a winner. And so that we have basically a bunch of winners from different categories, and from these winners I'm going to select, or not me, but my grand judge Jay Dickman is going to select one photograph or one photographer as the overall winner. So that would be the big prize. So this photographer, on top of the prize that he or she wins in that category, will also receive another prize for winning the overall competition. The video side is totally separate, so the video, because it's nothing to do with photos, so there will be complete separate categories there. So there'll be one prize for that, but the price will be really good for the video. So like, it's quite expensive actually, the price. And I'm not trying to not to leak too much. You have to stay tuned for my price review. So I'll review all the prizes very soon, and you just have to stay tuned. Come in, join us to the Facebook group, See the World Together. You go to Facebook, just search See the World Together, you'll see the Facebook group. Join there. I'll be announcing things there so you can see what's going on. And also, it's already got a healthy community there submitting photos just for everybody to check out. You know, like I mentioned, it's a community thing. I want to people to share the images around the world and around, you know, even just down the street from where you live. It's just for people to see, you know, because we can't travel this year, and it'd be quite cool to see exactly what's going on, and also, you know, some historic stuff. If you've got some old photos, scans, and things like that you want to submit, it's completely down to you. I've seen a lot of interesting stuff already, and something that I would love to go and travel and at some point in my life, hopefully. So it's an inspirational thing. So once you have a lot of images being submitted to the group, and then once we all starting to open our eyes and see different places, it really won't get you like pumping, every day, and just to see you. I want to see that place. So at the moment, I think the group has submitted so many autumn photos, because leaves are changing colors now, especially in Netherlands and also Canada. Just beautiful, beautiful places. So hopefully I answered your question, Dale. And if you got any more questions, please email me or direct message me through Facebook or anything else, Instagram, doesn't matter. And you got my social link here. And you can find my contacts there. You can just basically drop me a line, ask me questions about the competition. If anything that you don't quite understand, if any of you don't quite understand, you're very welcome to let me know. I will try to make it more clear on the actual website itself. I know, like I said, this is my very first time organizing a competition. I'm still very nervous about the whole thing because it's my very first time, and I'm really thrilled to have all these sponsors there to really they're trusting me. They're also trusting my my ability, so I'm really happy. These are good brands. You can see Olympus, Three-Legged Thing, DxO, Holyland, Lauer, Instinct, Per Gears. These are good brands, and they're really happy to do this competition with me, and I'm just so happy. Okay. Let's see here. I use old 4/3. Oh, you got a 150 f2. Oh my goodness, I love that lens. I haven't owned one, but I would love to have that lens. I think it's sharper than the 40 to 152 1.8 Pro. Mostly I use it because it's one stop brighter. It's for the very special nice. Yes, it is. It is a very special background blur. The bokeh is very special. I love that lens. I really do. In fact, I have the 35 to 100 f2. As well, and that's a cracking lens. It's a very different lens altogether, different characters. I mean, I know you talk about sharpness there. It's a very different type of sharpness, and I think the 40 to 150 is actually very sharp, but it's a more clinical sharp. And if you're familiar with film photography, I think that the 150 f2, even the 35 to 100 f2 lens, the 4/3 lenses, they are very organic in a way that it's kind of emulate the older film kind of sharpness, which I like. I personally like that sort of sharpness. You can kind of emulate that if you kind of work a little bit on the file and with the modern lenses. But yeah, I can see your point, especially the background blur. The 150 f2 is amazing in terms of the background blur. It's really cool. Oh, you found, okay, wow, you found it. No, you didn't find it for that price, did you? That is awesome. You found it at that price. You're a lucky man. You're one lucky man there. Okay. Marcus, I can actually think of pictures for at least 2 categories. Enter both. Enter both. There's no limit, like I said. Okay. Okay. Have I tested the Viltrox? No, I have not. I have tried the what was that? I can't remember the actual adapter name now. Actually, I did try something. It didn't work well at all. Especially AF. It works in a way, but it's so slow and it hunts. It hunts, and for some reason, even if you mount it to the EM1 Mark II, Mark III, or any OM cameras that has a hybrid AF like the face detect, it doesn't work. I think it still utilizes the contrast detect, and then so that's why it get this jittery thing, that back and forth pulsing thing. Is really horrible. It works. It will lock onto focus eventually, but it's just very slow process. It's like it's like a forever thing. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the later version, because I know they updated the adapter several times already. The later one may be better than the one that I tried a few years back. But my experience with it was very terrible, and that's why I never ever used it again. It just doesn't work for me. I mean, I can still use manual focus, of course. That's fine if I do videos and things like that. But it's just not something I would use it for AF. It's nowhere near the performance as a native lens for sure. Okay. Okay. Any more questions here? Right at the end of it. Right. Yeah. Old lenses definitely have some characters. Helio. Oh, Helio. Yeah. Takumas. I do like Takuma lenses as well. Very special. Excellent stuff. Perfect stuff. Okay, I got through all the messages. Thank you very much, and I'm so happy you guys be able to join me. And oh, got another one here. Most people use Canon and Nikon programs in sports, so I always help people, some clients, before they look at the Canon. Yeah, I guess so. And see the world is the £5 per photo or per photographer. Can we enter multiple images for a single fee? Right. I have it set to £5 per entry, and that would be per photo. You know, I would like it to be you know, one entry fee for multiple photos, but at the moment I'm not entirely sure how many people are actually entering the competition, to be quite frank, and I already spent actually a lot of my own money setting this up, so it's a difficult decision. I know. I hope you understand that it will be hard for me to actually you know, fork out all the costs myself, and that's why I set it to £5 per entry, just hoping to help out and cover some of the costs that I set up, and also make it viable that I can make it next year. So if this year is going to be successful, then that will mean that I will be able to make adjustment for next year. So if this year is proving to be really viable, and next year I will be able to set it maybe to £5 per person, so you can enter a number of photos. And that will be maybe make it a little bit easier. So this is really my first time, so I have no idea at the moment what's going on and how it's going to work. But if things going to be okay, and I would definitely make the adjustment there for next year. And for now, for this year, I will set it to £5 per entry. So it's up to you, but I can tell you the prices are good. I don't know how to say it. But yeah, you know, it doesn't really matter if you don't just do one photo or two photos. And I know £5 sounds quite a lot, and only because I don't know exactly at the moment how many people will enter the competition. And if there is only, like, let's say 50, 60 people, I will probably make a big loss of it, because I have actually spent quite a lot of money out, and so it will be really difficult for me to recoup some of the energy that I put into this competition. So really, I hope you understand that. So at the moment, I will set it to £5 per entry, but if proven to be a lot of people coming in, and definitely next year I'll have the experience to organize this, and I will make it a little bit better, a little bit more competitive, and hopefully it will be even a more affordable way to people to have fun. Because I do want everybody to join, so I'll try to make it as affordable as possible. But this, like I said, and being a first-time competition organizer, and it's going to be really tricky for me, and because I don't know what to set. But I've seen £5 competition quite often everywhere, so I thought that would be a good price point to for photography entries. So hopefully that will be okay for everyone. Like I mentioned, it's just not really something I'm making money off. It's something that I try to make it work as a competition. If this is good, like I mentioned, next year definitely could be bigger and better, and hoping that utilizing whatever I could gather this year, whether it's going to be experience or whether it's going to be money-wise, and hopefully that will be able to help me to move things forward to the next step, making this community of photographers and creative even better and better next year, and maybe for many years to come. And that will be my goal, and hoping everybody will enjoy photography as a hobby, as a profession, creative as a general terms, I would say, whether it's going to be stills or videography. So that will be my goal, and I do hope that everyone one day will take up your camera and just be happy. You know, that is something that I would love to everybody to just enjoy whatever they use. Okay, and okay, Roger. Okay, I'll make that clear on the website. I do say per entry, so maybe in the per entry is not as clear as possible. No problem. I will make it clearer on the website. Thank you for commenting. That's really helpful, because I do need to evolve my website a little bit, hoping I can make it clear enough for people to enter. And like I said, I apologize if I do make some mistakes anywhere, and please correct me, and also let me know exactly what you're thinking, and so I can improve on the website and everything like that, and making sure that this is going to be a fun competition for everybody. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. Not a problem. Metabones, yes, Metabones. That's the adapter that I was talking about, and but I had bad experience with that. Viltrox, I don't think I tried Viltrox at all. When I say no digital manipulation, does it mean highlights and shadow? No, that is not at all. Manipulation means cloning, or actually replacing something from photographs. I don't mind cropping, but clonings or heavy manipulation, that's what manipulation is, usually by means of actually changing the actual photograph itself in terms of content within it. The highlight and shadows, these are all adjustments, these are fine. And there is a category, it's called best editing. So if you want to enter that categories, it's all about how good you can edit the photos. So like that categories you can actually manipulate. So you can change your photo into an artwork if you want. And for that entry, I would need both the raw, because I need to see the original and see the finished product. And for that, you also win a prize as well. So that would be really cool. So I would like to see how good you are as an editor, how well you do with your Photoshop or any other software you do with your digital skills, your creation, imagination. That would be really fantastic. Okay, should I buy the EM1 Mark III concerning the OMD future? I don't think you should worry. No problem at all, because I don't see it's gonna disappear. Not only that, digital camera is not like a toy. You know, I'm pretty sure some of you guys are still using a 10-euro camera. I do. I still have something that as old as 15 years old, so it still works. You know, like unless you're a pro that can basically shoot 10,000, 30,000, 50,000 frames a year, that's a totally different story. But if you don't, you're an amateur, like who taking even 10, 20,000 frames a second. Like in today's standard, the shutter won't die until like 5 years later, 4 years, 5, 6 years later, depending on how the usage is. So I don't think you should be worried too much. No problem, Peter, how are you? And hope you're feeling better, and not a problem at all for clarifying the competition. Okay, that's cool. Right, thank you very much, and please do let me know if you have any questions about the competitions, and also if you want to learn more about photography. Let me know what you would like to learn. I've already put something in the community page on YouTube, so you can vote on what sort of content you would like to see me talking about. And I could either do it as a video or do it as a talk, so I could use live demo or live interaction with you guys like today. So hopefully that will be something that we can build on together. You know, even though I'm pro, I'm still learning every day. So I'm gonna learn something from you, you learn something from me. It's all about exchange and communication. So this is what this live chat is all about. I mean, we have some fun talking about gears and brands and stuff like that, but you know, ultimately my goal is to inspire each other in terms of photography. So that would be something, right? Okay, cool stuff. And just answer one last question, since it's WeWet, because WeWet's been with me for a long time. The EM5 Mark II shutter limit, I think, is 150,000 clicks. So that's the shutter actuation. But if you use silent mode, it literally extends the life of the shutter for indefinitely almost. But everything has a life. But for electronic shutter, there's at the moment, no numbers being attached to it. So I don't know how long the sensor will actually last. But in terms of mechanical shutter, I believe it's 150K. So it's still long enough. 150K is a lot of shutters. Unless you shoot a lot as a pro, if you just like shooting on the side, going travel and things like that, you will be able to use the camera for at least 12, 15 years. I'm pretty sure. And David Crooks, what's the link to the competition? The link to the competition is about, you see the images here? And hang on. Here, yeah, there you go. seetheworld.gb.net. That's the website. You go and then click on it, see that, and there will be information there. Like I mentioned, once again, just one last note is that if anybody don't think it is clear enough, please ask me questions. I will be able to answer you, and I'm available. Just drop me a line. I'll be able to answer you accordingly. And let me know what I should be improving in terms of description. Make it clearer for people who understand the competition as well. That would be really, really cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and for joining me, and I'm really happy to have today's live chat, and so good to see so many of you actually participated. I do hope to see some of you in the competitions, and like I mentioned, it's my very first time. Do apologize if I make some mistakes, and I do apologize in advance if I upset anybody, and I hope I haven't upset anybody, and I will try to make this more affordable next year. At the moment, because like I said, this is the first time, and I'm still learning at the same time, so the £5 entry fee is currently fixed, and I'm based on the worst scenarios and how many people are going to join the competition, and kind of calculate backward how much I can cover the cost, because I have to send the prices out as well, and that's another thing, because some of these prices are actually quite heavy. So if I don't have the cost to cover the postage, that means I will be basically eating bread, for the next 8 months with nothing else. I will have no money left. So thank you very much for joining me, and yeah, stay safe everybody, and I will see you again next Wednesday for another YouTube live. I will tell you about the title, of course, in advance, and hopefully everyone will be able to make it back again, and then we have another fun chat together. So so one last question. David Cooks, no, not UK, worldwide. I will send the prices worldwide. That's why I need some money. And, but having said that, I did have put a notes there. I can send it out for free. Basically, hopefully, I can cover with the entry fees that I'm going to ask people to send me. But I can't cover the potential import and duties and things like that. Hopefully, I'll mark it as a personal gift. Hopefully, it's not going to cost too much. But that is something as unknown for me. I cannot cover for everywhere, in the world. As you can understand, it can be very complicated. So, but I will send it out, send the price out for free, and so that is something that I promise that I will do. But hopefully everybody will enjoy the competition, and sure that it will be, because it's going to be some fun prizes, and hopefully it will be very inspirational to all of you. I will see you all next week, and have a nice day, and have a nice coffee from me. See you soon. Bye for now.